agitations and fear over 2023 elections as groups and politicians question discrepancies they said they found in INEC voter register. CUPP is already alleging that there are plans to rig elections of 2023. And ANAP NOI poll released today caused a stir with predictions of Peter Obi lead and a three-horse race. We get reactions on this tonight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbale in Abuja. So much to talk about tonight. If you blink, you might miss. So stay with me, everyone, because throughout the length of this program, it's going to be breathtaking, it's going to be intense, and very fierce at some point. So you'll find out what I mean later. We continue our countdown over the strike action by university lecturers. We won't keep eyes of it until the students are able to get back to the classroom. The unions have decided to go on indefinite strike action. They began in February this year. It's now about 216 days since the university lecturers in the federal universities in the country began the strike action, keeping students away from the classrooms. The standoff between the federal government and the university lecturers continue, and the students are the one that are bearing the brunt, continue to be idle. Many Nigerians are looking forward to the stakeholders getting their acts together to resolve what has become a national embarrassment. Quickly, let's tell you that former President Goodluck Jonathan has advised Nigerians to vote for credible leaders who have the country's interests at heart and will see Nigeria as their own project. He gave the advice during an interview with newsmen in Minna, the Niger State capital, after his visit to the former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, after his foreign medical treatment. Take a listen to the former President Goodluck Jonathan.
Elections are coming. You have to select the person you believe that will lead us well, will serve us well. The leader is also a servant. As the president, you lead, you serve. And somebody that will take the interests of all of us, the interests of the country, and will not compromise our own interests for his own aggrandizing. So somebody that will carry all of us along.
Thank you
Most
very much.
especially somebody that will take Nigeria as a project.
Now, tonight, there are allegations that INEC is up to something that is fishy. There are also allegations that the ruling party is conniving to ensure that the election of 2023 is rigged using INEC. Well, INEC a few days ago had released a report saying that it has delisted and invalidated some registration, which got a lot of Nigerians talking. In fact, there are now some images you will see online showing some discrepancies in the released voter registration. We come to that in a moment. You probably will have your own concern, because I've heard and seen some people asking already that is there a place where we can track and find out the progress of our registration in the CVR? Well, you'll get to hear from INEC tonight. Plus, a reaction trailing the NOI ANAP poll, which is putting Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party in the lead ahead of the 2023 presidential election, and is also saying that race is going to be a three-horse race. We're going to get reactions tonight on that. Stay with me, everyone, because we need now to serve you some of your political roundup stories.
The federal government has disbanded the National Task Force on the Prohibition of Illegal Importation and Smuggling of Arms, Ammunition, Light Weapons, Chemical Weapons and Pipeline Vandalism, NATFORCE. The Minister of Interior made the announcement while briefing State House correspondents after the National Security Council meeting.
The Council has ordered all security agencies to enforce the disbandment of that body and other such bodies that operate illegally.
The Senate Committee on Finance has resolved that an ad hoc committee will investigate the budget of the National Iron Ore Mining Company from 2008 till date over alleged financial recklessness. The committee observed that the agency, which has been receiving capital releases since 2008 and 1.4 billion naira capital release in 2022 and 1.4 billion naira capital release in 2022, has nothing to show for its implementation. Lawmakers are also concerned that 1.5 billion naira has been received as recurrent expenditure for the agency with a lean staff strength of about 700, which cannot be verified. Elder statesman Chief Olufalaye is urging the electorate not to sell their votes or be induced by politicians during the 2023 general elections. He spoke today at the commissioning of the National Secretariat of the Social Democratic Party in Abuja, where he warned that any attempt by the electorate to sell their vote would amount to mortgaging their future and enslaving themselves.
If you do not restructure Nigeria and revive Nigeria, more and more young people will desert Nigeria. All the doctors have actually gone.
A former deputy national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Olabode George, has again called for the resignation of the party's national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, while making a case for the position to be filled by a southerner. At a press conference he addressed in Lagos, Chief George believes the present arrangement in the party, which has the presidential and national chairman positions filled by persons from the north, cannot continue to stand.
And having served at various levels in our party, we must not allow this ship to sink.
More supporters come in the way of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Bola Tinubu, as the national coordinator of the Jagaban Shetima Ambassadors and Media Action, Mohammed Uthman, inaugurated the National Executive Council zonal and state coordinators. Speaking in Abuja shortly after the inauguration, the national coordinator of the group says the sole aim of the group is to mobilize 15 million votes for the APC presidential candidate during the 2023 presidential election.
The cardinal objective of Jagaba and Kashim ambassadors is to mobilize 15 million votes for ASUU Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shetima during the 2023 general election.
Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to accept and publish the name of Godswill Akpabio as the candidate of the All Progressives Congress for Akwa Ibom North and West Senatorial District in next year's election. Delivering the judgment, Justice Nwite held that INEC acted illegally for refusing to accept and publish Akpabio's name even when it was sent to it by the APC as its candidate. And a civil society group under the aegis of Imo Coalition for Justice, Peace and True Democracy has criticized the spokesperson of the Coalition of United Political Parties, Mr. Ikenga Ugochinyere, over what they termed false, unfounded and malicious statements. The group berates Mr. Ugochinyere and his allies over its attack on the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma and the INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu.
We challenge Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere to produce such documents to show the compromise of electoral register and falsification of upload of registrations.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with me. I need to come here, but when it comes to the issues of registration and the numbers in our elections, this is a very important moment in our election. So follow me carefully, everyone, because INEC is on the program to explain some of these issues. I'm being joined by Mr. Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner of INEC on voter registration. Now, of course, you know what INEC has said. The Independent National Electoral Commission has disclosed that it found 1,126,359 records out of the 2,523,458 fresh registrants that registered between June 28, 2021 and January 14, 2022 to be invalid. 1,126,359 are now invalid, and consequently, INEC has delisted those numbers. Now, the commission said that it also detected several double, multiple and ineligible registrants and has consequently invalidated them, adding that this includes entries that fail to meet the commission's business rule. Meanwhile, A socio-political group under the aegis of Coalition of United Political Party, the CUPP, is asking INEC to assure Nigerians of its commitment in conducting a free and fair election. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the spokesperson, Ikenga Ugochinyere, says it has a clear evidence put in place by the ruling APC to rig the 2023 elections, with the recent discovery of fake permanent voter cards with some of them names of foreigners on some of these cards, has now asked INEC to ensure a free and fair election in 2023. So when the news came that INEC had invalidated and delisted some registration, a lot of people were talking. Let's get the reactions of INEC. So if you look at what INEC has said, and let's put figures to the statement INEC released, it means that in the fresh registration, which was between 28th of June 2021 and 14th of January 22, this is not the entire registration at the time. Don't forget, it was 12 million that INEC said were the new registrants. And if you remember vividly, I told you that these figures will consistently change as INEC fine-tunes its records, because this, historically, we followed how these things happen. Out of that, INEC said it has deregistered and delisted or invalidated 1,126,359, which brings us to a newly completed based on this window. Don't forget, there is this window. There is also the window between January and to the last moment when INEC stopped the CVR. So don't forget, these are very important dates and figures that you need to keep to heart. Now, 1,397,099 are the figures that are valid from those figures. So almost half of those figures are gone because of some reasons I will show you much later. Now, in 2019, we had 84 million registered voters. So if we put it together for what we had the last time, the 12 million INEC release that says that there were new registrants in the whole of the CVR exercise, it gives you 96 million. But minus the 1,126,359, it comes to 95 million. It will still go down the more because INEC today again has said it has also delisted and invalidated more figures. We'll be hearing from INEC in a moment. Now, so that is where the figures takes us, 95 million so far, and it's going to go down more, I promise you. Now, this is the process in which INEC, or the reasons INEC is given for the delisting and invalidation of some of these figures. They include double registration. If you're one of those who registered twice, this is one of the reasons. Multiple registration. There are some people who registered even more than 2 times. There are people who are ineligible. What are the eligibility for registration? You'll find out later. There are entries which failed INEC business rule because of some reasons. It might be because of the capturing. It might be because of some reasons best known to INEC based on their business rules. Let's listen to Mr. Festus Okoye on some of these issues. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for joining us. First and foremost, before I get you into the business of what you did with these figures and the questions Nigerians are asking, there was a breaking news earlier today of a former minister of the Niger Delta Affairs who you and APC have been going back and forth on his matter. The court has asked INEC to put his name on the ballot. That's Senator Godswill Akpabio. What is the latest coming from INEC? Have you received that judgment of court?
Well, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the national commissioners of the commission are not within a jurisdiction. They are not in Abuja at present. And as you know, the commission relies on the certified true copy of court judgments and court orders before it can act. So we don't base our decisions on newspaper reports or on reports from the radio or television. We base our judgment and our decisions on concrete evidence based on certified true copy of a court judgment or a court order. So as of today, the national commissioners and the chairman are not within jurisdiction. So we have not received anything, and we have not been served with anything where we are.
So of course, when you get it, of course, I know INEC will obey, isn't it?
Well, when we get the judgment, definitely the court will look at, the commission will look at the specifics of the judgment, have a clear understanding of what transpired in court, and also have a clear understanding of the orders that the court has made and what is expected of us. And then we will study the judgment and see whether it is still within the purview of what the commission can concede. If it is not within the purview of what the commission can concede, then the commission will take it up. But based on our processes and based on our procedures and also based on our rules, we respect court orders because under Section 287 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we are a public trust, we are a public institution, and we are bound to obey orders from properly constituted courts of law. But we have to receive the judgment, study the judgment, understand what has transpired in relation to the matter, and then make a decision on what the court expects us to do, and also make a decision whether the commission will appeal against such a judgment or such an order. But until we receive such a court order or such a judgment, the commission will meet and take a decision on what to do. But as of today, we have not received any court order or court judgment.
Now, let's move away from that. There's another quick issue that I'd like you to touch on, and this is the matter relating to the BVAS and its use for 2023 elections. Are you aware of any move by any politician in whatever political party or any political party making any move? Are they approached you about their inconvenience or their dissatisfaction with the use of BVAS to the extent that there are talks about or reports that there are, allegations that there are some politicians who are not comfortable with the BVAS and they are planning to stop it using the court. Now, you're a lawyer. Give us a sense of how concrete or how much that law, that BVAS, that device is being captured in our laws. Is it identified by the electoral law? Is not captured in the Constitution, but the Constitution empowers INEC. But what is the fate of BVAS? Should it be challenged in court?
Well, you see, the BVAS is an in-house device that was designed by engineers based in the commission. In other words, it was designed by the commission's engineers based on our own specifications and also based on the fact that we recognize the fact that technology is evolving and that the technology moves forward and does not travel backwards. And so we needed the technology that is a 3-in-1. Now, if you look at the BVAS itself, for the purposes of voter registration, we call it the IVED, INEC voter enrollment device. And so we use it for the purposes of voter enrollment. During election, we call it the BVAS, and we use it for purposes of voter accreditation and verification. Now, it also does result upload into our INEC result viewing portal. So it's a 3-in-1 device designed by our INEC engineers and then fabricated outside the country for the use of the commission. Now, arising from the challenges of the 2015 general election and the 2019 general election relating to the BVAS, the Supreme Court made a determination that the smart card reader is a very, very good device for purposes of accreditation, but it was not backed up by the law. So when the Electoral Act was being amended, the commission went before both houses of the National Assembly to canvass a specific domiciling of the BVAS and the smart card reader in the Electoral Act. So if you look at the Electoral Act, it says that the commission shall use the smart card reader or any other technological device for the purposes of accreditation of voters to verify and authenticate that the person who has come to the polling unit on election day is a duly registered voter whose name is on the voters register and who has a permanent voter's card. So the BVAS is domiciled within the confines of the Electoral Act 2022, and we do not have any fear whatsoever in relation to its validity and in relation to the legality of the BVAS and other technological and electronic devices we are using for the election.
So for the sake of assurances and clarity, tonight you are telling us that no matter what any politicians think or feel, BVAS will be used in 2023 and it's almost cast in stone, is it?
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has given the Independent National Electoral Commission the exclusive right, the exclusive power, and the exclusive mandate to organize, undertake, and supervise elections that are captured within the confines and ambit of the Constitution. And that's exactly what we are going to continue to do. We are accountable to the people of this country, and the people of this country have accepted the BVAS as a game changer in our electoral process, and we cannot, under any circumstance, go back on the use of the BVAS for the purposes of voter accreditation, and we can also not go back on the issue of transmitting polling unit level results into our INEC result viewing portal. These two devices and these two mechanisms and these two protocols are sacrosanct, and the Commission is committed to using them during the 2023 general election.
So legally speaking, anybody that is planning to challenge the BVAS in court should kill the idea. INEC is going to go ahead. That's the assurance that you're giving Nigerians tonight.
Well, you must also recognize that 3 national commissioners are over 25 years post-call as lawyers. One of them is even a professor of law and a senior advocate. And we have over 4 senior advocates as staff of the commission. And we have so many lawyers in the commission. And so we do not have fears whatsoever relating to anybody taking us to court. Anybody who takes us to court based on our business rules, based on our processes, we are going ready to meet the person in court. So we have no fears whatsoever.
I love it. When lawyers both bring it on. Like they say, sue the bee in law. Lawyers know how they say it. But interesting, and it perhaps put to bed those who are nursing the fear that there are plans to suffocate or kill the idea of BVAS going into 2023 election. Now, let's come to the figure. You may not like it, Mr. Okoye, but the fact that some Nigerians are worried, first and foremost, clarify for us, can Nigerians begin to track the progress or their cards on your website? Is it possible for anybody to be able to do that? Can they be able to see their cards, the way and manner in which it's being, whether it's ready for collection, is ready for, it's being produced, what the status and how they can collect it? Is that possible, Mr. Okoye?
So you must recognize the fact that the proprietary right in the voter's card resides with the Independent National Electoral Commission. The Independent National Electoral Commission is the only agency and the only organ and the only commission that has been given the right to design and print the permanent voters' cards of registrants. Now, the truth of the matter, and as you pointed out when we started, is that we already have 84 million Nigerians who are on the voters register, whose names and particulars are already on the voters register. Now you are talking about those who engage in the continuous voters registration exercise, which we commenced on the 28th day of June 2021 and terminated on the 31st day of July 2022. These are the people you are talking about. Now we carried out the CVR based on our own processes and based on our procedures in relation to 4 quarters. For each of those quarters, we displayed the preliminary voters register in every local government area in the 774 local government areas of the country. For the 4th quarter, which also encompassed the registration we did between the 1st day of July and the 31st day of July, we displayed the preliminary voters register in all the local government areas between the 15th to 21st day of August 2022 for people to make claims and objections. Now, but having said that, I want to make it clear that the Commission has not added any person's name to the voters register. That as of today, our voters register still remains at 84 million. This is because we have not concluded action on those who registered during this CVR. We are presently doing the cleanup exercise in relation to those who registered during this CVR. It is only when we finish that we are going to print their permanent voters cards, and then we will integrate both the old and the new, and then we will display in the 774 local government areas of Nigeria and in the 8,809 registration areas for claims and objections. So as of today, no new voter, no new registrant has been added into the voters register because we have not completed the cleanup exercise of the voters register.
So give us a sense, because some of the discrepancy that is being seen, you see some pictures with a man and against a woman's name. And you definitely see a picture of someone who obviously look like a man. In some other climes, one might be confused, but in Nigeria, I'm not sure, it's so rampant that you see a woman and has the gender on the opposite. So some of these issues, would they be cleaned up? Are there obvious discrepancies? Or what exactly is happening? With some of these pictures of your register flying around, it calls to a question about the validity or the integrity of the voter register by INEC.
No, there's no issue of the validity and the integrity of the register. I have told you that no new registrant has been added to the voters register. We have been very, very transparent. We have displayed for the continuous voters registration exercise, the moment we are done with a particular quarter, we display the preliminary voters register in the 774 local government areas of the Federation for claims and objections. And then thereafter, the data is moved to our headquarters, where we are using our automated fingerprint identification system, ABIS, for purposes of identifying double and multiple registrants. Not only identifying multiple and double registrants, we are also doing what we call adjudication. If there are some pictures that are not clear, we do manual adjudication and look at those pictures. If the picture of a male appears against the name of a female, we do manual adjudication to find out why that should be the case. If there's a name that does not look Nigerian, we do manual adjudication to find out why that should be the case. So it is the adjudication that we are doing presently, and also cleaning up the voters register before we will display in the 8,809 registration areas and in the 774 local government areas for claims and objections, before anybody can now successfully say that he or she has been added to the voters register. Let me remind you that before the Anambra governorship election, that we did continuous voters registration exercise. And when we finished, a total of 134,865 registrants registered. Out of this number, 58,761 were invalid registrants, and we removed them from the register. We also did the FCT area council elections. Out of the 42,986 that registered, 14,640 were invalid registrants, and we removed them. We also did the Ekiti governorship election. Out of the 124,963 that registered, 47,633 were invalid registrants, and we removed them. When we went for the ASUU governorship election, 360,674 registered. Out of this number, 92,013 were invalid, and we removed them. So there is no smoking gun here. These are the things we have been doing. I believe that the commission is doing very, very well in terms of cleaning up the voters register, and also in terms of making sure that we are transparent and have a voters register.
There will be a lot of cleaning up that you need to do at the commission, Mr. Okoye, because I will forward this to you so that, this is a public knowledge. In a polling unit, virtually everyone on that polling register were born in 1983. Is it coincidence that everybody on that list are born in 1983? And those anyone born in 1983 is probably 39 years of age. But if you look at the pictures, they are looking 70. They are looking 60 years of age. I'll forward this to you, because when you say there will be cleanup, Nigerians will want to know how far the cleanup will go. And in fact, how did these kind of error happen so much that everybody in a polling unit were born in the same year? And you find men with gender female against their names.
Yes, I understand what you are saying. some few minutes ago, an hour ago, I released a statement relating to some of these issues. And I informed you that, for instance, in Oru East local government area, that out of those who registered, that we have already removed and invalidated 3,316 ineligible registrants. And I've also informed you that we are doing cleanup using our ABIs to remove multiple and double registrants. We are not only using technology to do that, we're also doing what we call manual adjudication. If we see a name or a picture that is suspicious, we do manual adjudication and then see whether such a picture matches the age bracket of the individual. If we see a male picture recorded against a female picture, we invalidate it. And so we are doing a lot of cleanup exercise. But the question is, the fundamental thing is that this particular commission has been very, very transparent. And I'm telling you that for every quarter, we displayed the preliminary voters register in all the local governments, calling on people to come and check to see whether there are anomalies and to see whether there are ineligible registrants in that particular voters register, so that these things can be pointed out. And at the end of the day, we are still going to display the entire voters register for claims and objections. And we plead with Nigerians to take a look at this voters register and then point out people who are deceased, point out people who are not eligible to be on the voters register, and assist the commission to have a very clean voters register. It's a multi-stakeholder venture, and Nigerians have to assist in making sure that we have a very good voters register.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for your time tonight, for the clarification that you have made on some of these issues. I know it's going to go a long way to educate and help Nigerians make a sense of what is ahead of them. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Okoye, for your time tonight.
I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you so much. But don't forget, this is very important. Wherever you may be watching, in 2019, this was how the demographies across the voting population, this was how it stood. Look at it. People of 70 years and above, 3.69% were their population on the voting, on the register, and the people with the highest, a group of people, are the young people, who are at 51%. They are the people between age 18 and 43 in 2019. And you will see some level of change here in 2022. Now, in the 2022, there is a significant rise in the willingness of young people. If you look at it, from 18 to 43 years of age, there's 71%. Telling you one thing, that young people this time around seems to be ready. But how ready are they? Because not only that you went to register, you must collect your PVC. Not only that, you must go out on election day to vote. That is how you can make this number, which is very significant. This is how you make it count. We'll take a break, everyone. And when we return, our attention will be on the poll that was released. The poll was saying that Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party is in the lead, and that its race is 3-horse race. And this gentleman that you're seeing on your screen will weigh in on this matter. Labour Party might be throwing a party tonight. But well, we'll hear reactions from the other political parties. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Reactions have continued to trail a poll report released by ANAP Foundation, done in partnership with NOI Poll. The poll shows that the 2023 presidential election is a 3-horse race between the candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, All Progressives candidate Bola Tinubu, and the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar. According to the result of the poll, which was commissioned by the ANAP Foundation and conducted by NOI, the polls are limited. Mr. Obi is leading the race with 21% of the votes in the poll. His votes give him an 8% lead over APC's Tinubu and PDP's Atiku Abubakar, who each got 13%. They are in joint second race in the votes to end up as second runner-up in the lead to the 2023 election. Now, the presidential candidate of the Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, was fourth with 3% of the votes. Now, APC campaign has been reacting, and we're already seeing reaction from other political parties. Let's get their reactions and make sense of what this poll means and whether there's any effect on the presidential election of 2023. I'm being joined by spokespersons of 3 political parties, in exception of Labour Party, because they have the advantage in this one. So let's get reactions. We have joining me virtually Mr. Bayo Ononuga, a spokesperson of the Tinubu and the APC Presidential Campaign Council. He joins us from Ijebu-Ode. And here also we have Mr. Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, a former member of the House of Reps and a spokesperson of the NNPP and the Kwankwanso Presidential Campaign Council, as well as Dr. Daniel Boala Alaya and the spokesperson of the Atiku and the PDP campaigns organization. Thank you so much indeed, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Perhaps I should begin from where it seems to have hurt the most, and that will be for the NNPP. You are being categorized as, in fact, out of the race, because the race has been described as a 3-horse race. And how does your principal feel about it and your party?
Well, let me correct that statement. We are not hot in any way. Absolutely, we are not hot. In fact, coming to this program, I was contemplating not to come, because coming here, we've made the people who promoted the pool to achieve what they want to achieve, because all they want to do is to put it in a public conversation. We continue to talk about it, creating the image as if Obi is very much right. But let me say this. NOI in 2015, projected clearly that Jonathan is going to win the election. Jonathan lost the election. Many other work that they've done, all have been proven wrong. There is no any work that they've done where you can say that the projections are right or anything. Well, that is the extent that I will go in giving any recognition to that statement. It is absolutely false. It's not a representation of a reality on ground, particularly if you are talking about the northern part of the country. Repeatedly, I've said this. And in a matter of 3-4 months, the facts will emerge. Rabiu Kwankwaso has the northern part of Nigeria locked down. And let me say this. Apart from northern part of the country, the 2 other parties, even though we are not here to discuss the two other parties, the case of APC is damaged already. And that is why you see what APC does is to run its campaign around ASUU, whom I believe that he is a good pilot. But the problem is not ASUU, the problem is a party. The party is damaged. So it's like saying you have a good pilot and you have a bad aircraft. So what APC is asking Nigerians to do is to go and fly in a bad aircraft because they have a good pilot. It is not going to. It's not going to work. The 2 parties, including the one of my very good friend Boala, PDP and APC are in a mess.
Interestingly, both of you are product of the APC.
Well, you can say, for me, I was a product of the PDP, then the APC, then of course NNPP. Some people think it has a disadvantage going around, but it has a major advantage, because I have seen PDP, I have seen APC, and now I'm in NNPP. The major difference between APC and PDP is that PDP is damaged. APC is damaged, but PDP is saying, yes, we agree we are bad, but we are better than APC. Now, the point is that when the chips are down in January, when the fireworks really gets to its peak, the reality will come up. What people keep saying is that Kwankwaso doesn't have a reach in the southern part of the country. We don't like to pretend. Where he has completely locked down is the northern part of the country. But we're making sufficient inroad in the southern part of the country. That is enough to make us win the next election.
Is it true the comments against your party saying your candidate is a regional candidate?
He's not a regional candidate.
But you said you have
every candidate has where he has dominance. For instance, if you talk about ASUU, I don't think anybody who is wasting his time, the Yorubas are not stupid. They will vote him in the presidential election. But we as NNPP will be able to get some chunk of vote, particularly Lagos, Ibadan. We're making sufficient inroad. But at the end of the day, ASUU will still take it. The Yorubas will still vote. They will vote theirs. The only place Obi will demystify structure is in the southeastern part of the country. That is where, whether he has a structure or he doesn't have a structure, he will make an impression, because, because the Labour Party and their candidate are divisive elements. And all they have done is just to divide Nigeria. That's why they can never win the election.
Let me bring in Mr.
PDP, let me conclude. For PDP,
yeah,
they will have a pinch of little here and there, and it's not going to be enough to make them win the election.
Let me allow Mr. Bola to.
I like that.
Both of you, interestingly, very good friends of Bola Tinubu. Right. At one point, you were even working for him, yes, but you find yourself on the other side.
Certainly.
So the poll, how does it come to you? Is it a surprise?
No, well, to answer the first one, if your house is on fire, everybody looks for safety, and that's why I left APC to PDP. But you don't have much time. Let me quickly attack the issue of the poll. Now, a normal poll that will attract credibility will be a poll that clearly, in one breath, as you release the report, you must also release the sample size and the margin of error. These are basics. Mm-hmm. Because the sample size and the margin of error will help in identifying whether the polling was actually carried out correctly or not. Then you can stretch further to ask for the sampling. Was it done by a phone call? If it was done by a phone call, then the people who didn't have phone probably were not part of the polling. You also go to the extent of asking the demographics and then the place where the polling was carried out. I know they said it's a random sampling. But then, because of the result, I am tempted to believe that this polling was carried out online. Because Peter Obi online has a measure of people who are very active for him, much more than the other candidate. And I will tell you why. Because there was an algorithm search, and algorithm and data analytics that was carried out that came up with a finding that 57.5% of people who follow Peter Obi and engage for him on social media do not live in Nigeria. In fact, majority of whom are bots on Twitter. They are not real human beings. If you take away 57.5% of the people who are active for him, who probably live abroad and they don't have voters card, they are likely not to come to vote, then what it means is that Peter Obi is basking in the euphoria of hallucination. And this polling is a true reflection of that. I will not even go deeper to talk about the pollsters, that they are surrogates of Peter Obi. But the interesting thing you can find out from the result is that if you look at, they say there's a finding from 46 years to 59, and 61 above are the ones, the most, that say they are willing to vote. Meanwhile, Peter Obi's report says that Peter Obi's movement is that he has the millennials and the demographics of the young people. So how do you juxtapose this? In the polling, they said older people are the ones that are showing excitement to vote, but in real life, he is saying that his strength is drawn from the community of young people. If you ask anybody who understands data and analytics and statistics, they will tell you that it is not possible for you to release a polling result without giving the sample size and margin of errors. There are deeper things you can go into that. Then with respect to the second point, when you talk about the chances of a political party, if you look at all the other political parties, you will see you have rightly asked the question. They all lean towards a particular geopolitical zone. For a candidate to become a president in Nigeria, that person must score the highest majority of the lawful vote cast and must have at least 25% in 24 states of the federation. While, for example, NNP is saying we are making inroad into the east, PDP is saying we are already there. While Labour are saying we are trying to make inroad into the north, PDP is saying we are already there. While NNPP are saying we are likely to have a problem with the East because of Peter Obi is there, PDP is even making the bold statement to say we are not only there, but we are dominant and controlling there because as I speak to you today, and you can verify, there is not a single stakeholder in the entire Southeast that is supporting Peter Obi. It is still the social media people. And that is why I even released a tweet today to say that this manipulative strategy that is reflected in the form of polling is to give Nigerians a false sense of belief that Peter Obi is active or stands a chance. And like I told you about, for you to become a president, you must have the highest vote and 25% in 24 states. Peter Obi, if he's able to win 3 states in Nigeria, I will throw the biggest party for him.
All right, let's allow Mr. Onanuga, who speaks for the APC and Bola Tinubu, to weigh in. Mr. Onanuga, give us a sense of how this comes to your team and your party, and of course your candidate, knowing that the poll is not in your favor and you come a distant second with that percentage. Is this a lesson for you to work harder?
No. You see, Sheung, honestly, I do not want to dignify that poll with any comment. We've already released a statement about how we feel about the opinion poll. Well, it's not an opinion poll, really. There was no poll conducted. From the result that we saw, the summary that they gave, I believe some people just sat down somewhere and concocted a so-called poll. If we look at it, the way you have to dismiss it is this. Look at under Southwest. The NOI poll gave our candidate 18% in the Southwest. That is our candidate's own base. How can anybody sit anywhere? You don't even need to do any opinion poll to know that that is the stronghold of our candidate. And then they went to the Northeast and gave our candidate again 18%. Whereas the same people gave Peter Obi for a 64% in the Southeast. You can see that there's no logic in this thing. It's a lot of what I
You don't think, Mr. Onanuga, that this looked like a change of time? I mean, a changing scenario in our politics, even across board. The so-called established political parties, it seems that there is a changing, the wheel of change grinding gradually in our politics. Don't you think so? That could be another explanation to these signs that they have put forward.
There's no rule of change in the way the Southwest people will vote in 2023. Historically, the Southwest people will back their own. Everybody knows that. Because if NOI poll can say the Southeast people are going to back Peter Obi, why is it not good for the Southwest to back their own candidate? But besides that, it's not just backing our candidate. The Southwest will back our candidate because it's just a good candidate. It's the best on the field. And that's why we're going to get the support of the Southwest. So as far as we are concerned in the APC, that poll is something that is only meant for the trash can. It's not something that we should waste our time actually debating or talking about.
Well,
it's not scientific poll. It's not computer. It's just a mere trash.
Those who conducted the poll says it's based on science. Sometimes science...
It cannot be based on science.
Now, the question is, Mr. Jibrin here has said that your party is in tatters. The party is in trouble. And that your party is like a broken aircraft with a good pilot, which is your candidate. How do you react to that?
Well, that's his own opinion, but it's wrong. Our party is very, very strong. Our party is in a pole position to win this election. And
if you're to, I mean, because you're a very senior journalist in the land, if you use your journalist mind, I mean, that's in the local parlance, if you use your journalist mind, how do you rate your candidate? Is your candidate really looking good at the moment, or you are trying to make amends where you think that things are not right?
We have no doubt at all that our candidate is the person to beat in this election. He's looking good. He's far, far ahead of all his rivals in this race. And we have the belief that come February 25, 2023, is the man to win the election, hands down.
All right. Mr. Honorable Jibrin, let me come back to you. Now, this race, based on the poll today, is not favoring. And in fact, NOI poll may not be the only platform that I said Kwankwanso may not be right in the front. How do you convince Nigerians, aside your own members, because when you see your members, you know what to tell them. But Nigerians are well discerning. What do you tell them?
Well, I think the best way to get an answer is to investigate what they are saying. Now, for instance, my very good brother, by the way, Daniel, just talked about PDP being everywhere. But what he will not tell you is that PDP been everywhere. How? In 2015, they were defeated roundly. In 2019, they were defeated roundly. In 2023, they will still be defeated roundly. They are not anywhere. Their candidate is not a match to Kwankwaso in the northern part of the country. When you talk about APC, what APC do not want anybody to talk about is the fact that APC has been winning all these previous elections because they always start the election with a balance sheet of 12 million votes because of Buhari. Ask anybody, because of Buhari. Today, that 12 million vote is no longer there. For the first time in 8 years or in 10 years, APC will start a presidential election with zero. Where are they going to get?
But Buhari is still a member of the party, isn't it?
Where are they going to get? It
will still be going around with Tinubu.
But please, let's not even go into that. You all know what the problem that there is. Where are they going to get 8 million votes? That's what the leaders of APC are not even addressing now. They will start from zero. Show me one person within APC that can influence that chunk of vote. They cannot have it. And so the reality of the matter is that Kwankwaso has the North locked down, and he will have sufficient votes from the southern part of the country. We're making inways. In Akwa Ibom, where we have a very, very good person who is our governorship candidate who is doing well. We have that in Oyo, we have that in Lagos, and a couple of states, and we're going in there full force. By January, the reality will down.
So let me tell you, and I'm happy that my elder brother here was able to knuckle it up for me. He said that PDP lost in 2015. And he also said in another breath that Buhari always brings 20 million votes. So in 2019, with the Buhari and the Asiwajus and the Amechi and the Osibanjo and everybody, they merely escaped with 2 million votes against Atiku. If you do the math, that means out of his 12 million votes, if you take out the 2 million with which he defeated Atiku, that means Atiku has an advantage of 10 million votes over the starters. Now, what I'm trying to say in essence is that in 2019, Atiku, they were only able to smile away with 2 million votes when all of them were together against Atiku. In 2023, Buhari is not going to be there. They have problems with all the presidential aspirants in their party. They are not even moving with them. Recently, they called for a meeting. People say they were not interested to go. So it means that our own candidate, Atiku Abubakar, in the 2023 election, will win this election with a margin of not less than 7 million votes. And let me say one final thing. Because they make the case, they try to make the case we have 22 state governors. Hear this. People have not taken the time to look at the amended Electoral Act. With the electronic transmission of results, there is little a governor can do to influence election.
All right. Mr. Onanuga, let me get your closing thoughts. They said that your party, your candidate will be starting from the very base, from zero.
I would say that's a laughable comment. Our candidate, as I've said on several occasions, we are going to run our election. And we are going to win our election on 2 legs. We are going to piggyback on President Buhari's legacy, his political influence all over the country, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. And we are going to run on the track of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we have no problem at all. We believe that this election is ours to win, and we are going to come out very splendid at the end of the election.
All right. Mr. Onanuga, thank you so much indeed. When you get back to Abuja, there's so much to talk about. I will invite you specially with this gentleman. Let us discuss the issues that Nigerians want to hear about this race and how important it is and critical it is for their future. Thank you so much indeed, gentlemen.
Thank you, as always.
Honorable Abunumi Jibrin, Dr. Daniel Boala, and Mr. Bayo Onanuga, thank you so much, gentlemen. But that's our show for today, everyone. I told you indeed that you don't want to wink or you miss. But that's how we come to the end. I'm sure Kimale. Bye-bye.